Welcome to the Drink and Click show. I'm coming to you live from South Korea. I was trying to pick a more exotic location, but the Wi-Fi here was a little trouble. So I'm sitting on the floor in my bedroom, so in my hotel, and well, thank you for joining us. And we have a good group of panelists today. Lotus, you want to introduce the panelists?
Yes. And guys, when I introduce your name, whatever, just tell people where you are from and what you do, where you can be found on the web, and if you have anything you want to plug real quick, go for that. We're going to start off with Hillary Fox.
Hi, everybody. I am Hillary Fox from Detroit. Currently traveling all over the place, living in Amsterdam at the moment. Well, back in Amsterdam in a few weeks. And travel photographer, you can find me at hillaryfox.com.
So, Hillary, how much time do you actually spend in one place on average?
Maybe a few months at a time at the most. So lately it's been back and forth a lot. I've been out of a suitcase for a couple years now, so I've gotten quite used to not unpacking. It's pretty normal to me at this point.
So you're kind of like a touring musician. That's what my husband says. He lives out of the suitcase. His toothbrush never comes out of his little toiletries bag because he's always going.
Yeah, isn't that weird? It becomes the new normal. It's
normal for him. And it's totally weird to me because I'm always home. Well, cool. Thanks for being on tonight, Hillary.
Yeah, for sure.
Up next, we've got Jordana Wright.
Hi, I'm Jordana. I'm from Chicago. Right now, I'm working on a lot of event photography. Things are kind of blowing up around here lately, so I haven't been traveling as much as I would like to, but I haven't finished editing pictures from a trip that it was like a year and a half ago, so I can just work on that. You can find my stuff at jordanawright.com and on Google+, and yeah.
The last really wonderful travel photography venture that I did was with you when we went to Virgin Gorda.
Was that the last time, like you did something?
That's the last time I did something really great like that. This actual year has been terrible for me for travel, but that was a lot of fun. And you had actually a really great, not travel photography, but a really great opportunity just recently this year that was a big deal.
The TED.
Yeah, you did a TED Talk.
I gave a TED Talk in Delaware in August about Google Plus and photography and how Google Plus has inspired all of this communication and inspiration among photographers, and as a result of that, we've kind of innovated the industry a little bit. So yeah, that was like my biggest recent thing.
So exciting, and I really loved your talk. I enjoyed watching
it. Thank you. Did you like the bathroom selfies?
That was fun, yeah.
People were asking me about them, and then afterwards, Kathleen Koch, who's like this news anchor that was the moderator for the day, she and I did a bathroom selfie.
Well, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Yeah, oh, that's been such a fun trip, so it was really cool to see you actually mention that in the talk. So
yeah.
Really... Well, thanks for being on tonight.
For sure.
Moving on, we're going to skip over Juan and myself, and we've got someone mobile tonight who's actually kind of traveling. We've got Michael Bonacore. Can you hear us, Michael? Oh, he's actually muted now, huh? We can't hear you. Here, let me see if I can unmute you. Talk.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Woohoo! Sweet.
We totally keep Michael muted, but yeah.
I am mobile. I'm in the very paradise that I call San Francisco. It took me half an hour to find a place to park, but I finally found a place. I'm very excited. So half an hour later.
How much is it going to cost you?
You know, the parking's free, but the ticket and the broken window I'm going to probably get is going to cost about $500. So.
Good times. But remember, okay, so just recently we talked about this, and you decided that your new plan of attack would just be to leave all the windows open and all the doors unlocked.
Yeah, if you live in San Francisco, the rule of thumb is to not obviously keep anything valuable ever in your car and just leave your doors unlocked, because they're going to try the doors first, they're going to get in, they're going to go through all your crap, and then they're going to see that there's nothing valuable, and you save yourself $200 from a broken window. So Yeah, leave your car unlocked in San Francisco.
Pro
Wow.
tip for parking in San Francisco from Michael Bonacor.
Yep.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. So I'm here. I work at SmugMug is my day job. I'm on the social media team. Run the Google Plus page for SmugMug, so check it out. And I also work for the Giving Lens, and that is where my travel photography comes in. For about 3-4 months out of the year, I travel and help Colby Brown and Kate Chabon lead photography workshops around the world with the Giving Lens. So check us out, thegivingLens.com. I'm on my way to India and Thailand on November 1st, so very excited about that.
So
Lucky,
jealous.
lucky.
Hey, Juan,
Yep.
are you wiping your screen off right now or something?
Yeah, sorry.
You gotta mute that shit, dude.
Dude, you cleaned over my plug, bro.
sorry about that.
Man.
Okay. Well, we know that not much that Michael says is all that important, so it's okay.
No. Especially when I'm mobile.
You know I'm kidding, Michael. We love you. Thanks
Thank
for
you,
being
boss.
on tonight.
You're welcome.
Okay. And then we also have Sarah Colleton.
Hello. I'm coming from Toronto. I am the leader for the Drink and Click Toronto team. And you can find me online by searching Sarah Colleton anywhere. I'm on Instagram, on Twitter, on Google+, and then my own website as well.
Just a little bit of everything. I think that we all kind of do that nowadays, don't we?
Yeah, I think the personal brand, especially with kind of like how social network has worked, is working. Like your own personal brand is just as important as any kind of company that you may represent as well.
Did you say you have a website too?
SarahColleton.com. Nice and easy.
Do you blog on there too? On there,
No.
a regular thing?
Well, blog is the thing that like I have a hate relationship for because I'm not a writer.
Okay.
I think it's
well,
important.
you can have a
and
photo blog.
Well, that's why I wanted to start it out. It's something I'm working on in the background to try to bring it back, but it's just like I despise writing, so it's kind of torture for me right now.
I love both, and I have a website, and I used to post there every day years ago, and then I found that when I started using other things like Twitter and Facebook more often, I guess it kind of diluted my own website because I felt this less of an urge to post there. So I was going to ask you about that, but you said you have a hate relationship with it already, so...
That's the other thing I find, like, as soon as... There's so many great people on Google Plus that write well and do these thorough posts, like Colby, or Colby's one that comes to mind instantly. And so I automatically assume that my blog posts have to be, like, pages or paragraphs upon paragraphs. And as soon as I start that, then I can never get anything done. But if I post a photo on Google Plus, I have no problem writing like 2 paragraphs about it. So it's just kind of taken over my need for a blog.
Yeah. And then there's like, it seems like there's even like some kind of a pressure release that it's not your own website. You said you can just like, when you post on Google Plus, you can just write a couple of paragraphs, no big deal. But you feel like kind of locked up about doing it for like as a website or a blog post. That's interesting. Just copy and paste it to your website after you write it for Google Plus.
It'll happen again eventually. I know it's important.
I've definitely noticed that the more that you write, like if you write a little bit every day, it comes so much easier.
Yeah. Well, cool, Sarah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like anything, right, Hillary? If you practice it, it comes much more easier. I think I just need to remember. For me, in this past year, I just started focusing on my blog more often. Anyway, let's move on. We're not here to talk about blogging. So Juan, you're in South Korea right now.
Yeah.
So tell us about how your trip's been going. Show us some photos and stuff.
It's going well. I'm gonna be here 6 weeks, and Samson sent me over here to train for, I guess, Gangnam style something. And so I'm gonna be here for a while.
Let's see the moves.
No, not yet. Maybe next month. Gonna be here for a while, and I haven't had a lot of chance to get out and do photography because I'm working Monday to Friday. But usually when I get to the hotel, I come up, grab my camera, and start walking and go around. Yesterday I have a few hours that I was able to get out and take a taxi and go to one of the gates here in Fortress down in Suwon. So that was the only chance I got to do photography, and I'm planning to get out as soon as the show is over. Maybe maybe to see if I can get to Seoul, which is probably gonna take a while. But yeah, I have a few pictures, and let me see if I can figure out the whole share screen thing.
Yeah, like, tell us kind of what you're planning on doing too, even if you haven't shot a lot yet. I know you have some plans for some things that you want to see.
Well,
Let's see what you've got.
let me see. Where is it? That's not it. Can you see anything right now? No?
No. Did you forget how to push the screen share button?
No, no, no. I know how to do it, but I
I'm
can't
just
find it.
screwing with you.
Can you see it? Can you see it now?
Yes, I can see it now.
Okay.
It's
So
finally
this-
in my face.
Nice. That's what you said.
Thank you.
So,
I couldn't get
Well,
unmuted quick enough for that.
Time to take a drink.
So this is right down the street from my hotel. If you get out of the hotel and you go one block down, this is what you get every night. Is a bunch of bars and restaurants and karaoke and everything you can imagine, and it's insane. I mean, this picture shows kind of empty. Last night it was just hard to walk there between the cars and people walking on the street.
That's
But it's a but it's a pretty cool location to be
wow.
at if you enjoy drinking and going out at night. So this one was one of the bartenders from a bar that I'm frequently probably every night. And she let me take a picture of her, and that's the part of the kitchen of the bar. So I needed to learn how to say, "Can I take your picture?" But she spoke English, so that was okay.
Ah, nice. Yeah, you should have looked up. You should have looked that up before you left.
Oh, I got it down now. Actually, that's
What
one of
is
my
it?
that's
Tell
one of
us.
my tips. Oh, let me see if I have it right here on the notes. 1 second.
Oh, he said I've got it down now, but what he meant was he'd written it down now.
That's Sachin Chigodo del Cayo.
Wow.
Hey,
That's
that
gonna
sounds
take
dirty.
that's gonna take your picture, but then you can say, hi, how are you? 안녕하세요, and then you say that, and then you say no muy payo. You say you're very beautiful, and
Yes, you have to say that.
yeah, then you can get a picture. So, and this picture was from the rooftop of my hotel, and
Love that.
you can see the same location of the bars. I have some other pictures I took from up there, but I haven't edited those. And this is the one from yesterday.
Wow.
So I didn't have a tripod. I did use my neutral density filters, 10 stops during the day, and I just put it on top of a box that I found in the street and
Nice.
set it there for 20 seconds, 22 seconds, and that's what I got. So that's one of the gates. There is a big fortress here in Suwon, and that's one of the four gates that you used to be able to get into the fortress.
So you're already picking up random box on the street, huh?
Well, yeah, exactly. Especially in Korea, it's pretty easy to get.
Oh.
And this one was at another palace. Once you go in through the gates, then you can find different locations inside. They have palaces and they have different buildings that you can go in and explore and take pictures of.
It's nice. I like the red and the blue together.
Yeah, it was pretty nice. And it was the same thing. There were a lot of people walking around, so the 10 stop, long shutter, avoid from getting all those people just walking by. So, but that's what I have so far. I'm gonna have to take more pictures today and during the weekend. See if
Yeah,
I can
man,
leave
you gotta
work
come
early.
home. You're gonna be there for all that time. You gotta come home with like crap tons of pictures.
I know, and I'm planning to go visit Drink and Click Tokyo. Let me see. There you go. planning to visit Drink and Click Tokyo in 2 weeks from now, so I'm flying here from a Friday afternoon, and I'm gonna be there until a Sunday. So
Sweet. Gonna go visit Holger and the crew there. They're
yep,
a really lively chapter. You're gonna have such a good time.
they are. We're gonna do a lot of walking and a lot of sake drinking.
Make sure you take some photos before you do
Oh
too
yeah.
much of the sake.
Oh, I will.
We need to see some really good photos with you and Holger and Giovanni together.
I know. I can't wait because I think the whole group is gonna be there. So it's just gonna be nice to finally meet the people.
Yeah. Yeah, sweet.
Very
So
excited.
what else are you planning on doing? You mentioned I can't remember exactly what it was. You were going to take a flight or a boat or something to a small island?
Yeah, there's an island down south, Jeju Island.
Jeju, that's right, because I
Yeah,
heard it had a funny name, but I couldn't
yeah.
remember.
So I'm planning to do the same thing on a Friday afternoon, just take a flight, go there, and come back on the Sunday. But that's supposed to be like the Hawaii of Korea, so yeah. So I'm planning to just go there and just do pictures all 2 days I'm there. So
So what's the thing that you're looking forward to shooting the most on this trip that have?
well, on this trip, I think I'm doing more landscape, or I'm gonna do more landscape, just because you don't take pictures of strangers until you are able to warm up to them and be able to ask them to let you take a picture.
Right, you
I
do
don't.
a really good job of that here. Do you feel like your language barrier makes you feel not as capable of doing that?
It is. I mean, if I'm in a setting in a bar or in a location, but walking on the street and just stopping somebody like I usually do in Austin,
Mm-hmm.
it is more difficult here just because, of course, the language barrier. So I'm
So
having a
you're
little
going to do
trouble with
some
that.
landscape more than, because you do a lot of really nice portraitures. You're going to concentrate on landscape more while you're on.
Yeah, yeah. I brought some filters. I bought them just before I came over here for my high tech. The other competitor brand from Lee filters.
Okay. Yeah.
So I used it probably one day. So I'm pretty happy with it. So I'm waiting for my tripod to clear customs so I can use it. So I
What
got
kind of
my
tripod?
that three-legged thing. It's a British company, and they do a pretty good job with tripods. It's a carbon fiber. I think it's 2 sections, 3 sections.
Yeah, I've never
And
used one, but I've heard really good things about those.
yeah, so they are actually stuck in customs, so I need to send them an email and see how I can clear it. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to use them.
Cool. So, guys, you guys have all had experience with travel and photography as relates to travel, so we'd like to hear from you guys kind of some ideas that you have, especially any tips that you have, and would love to see some of your work. So does anybody want to just kind of jump out there and go first? Michael, were you able to switch over to your laptop? Are you still mobile?
Yeah, I'm still mobile. I'm on a street corner right now with the phone resting on a windowsill.
Sweet.
Can you hear me pretty good?
Well, how about if I just go to your Google Plus page and I'll screen share just whatever you've got
Actually,
going on
you
there.
can, sure, actually, if you go to michaelbonacore.com, that would be better.
Okay,
It's
hold
on
on,
my-
just give me 1 second.
My homepage is filled with travel photos. Do you know how to spell my name, Lotus?
Yes,
Okay, good.
the Boner, THEBONER. Okay, so I've got it up, and while I'm screen sharing, you can talk some about the photos, but also give us a good tip. Give us a good.
Sure. So while you're screen sharing, if you want to know about any specific photo, just click on it, and I'll tell you a little bit about it. First tip of travel photography: never check your camera gear, ever, ever, ever. Always
So
bring
you
on the
mean
plane.
so if you're flying, don't check it. Carry it
No,
on.
Carry it on. Always carry your camera gear on.
So have you had a personal bad experience with checking your?
No, because I always carry it on. So I've not had a bad experience, but I've heard Chase
Oh.
Jarvis had a horrible experience
Okay.
not too long ago, where he was contracted to do a big shoot in Chicago or something, and U.S. Airways lost all his camera gear, and he had to rely on some random person from Google Plus to come and save him from
Some
not being
random
able to.
person.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool story, but he lost his travel gear. So I can't see which photo you're on. Where'd you go?
I'm just scrolling through them.
Oh.
I know this one that I started off with, I know where it is. I think it's one of my favorite photos that you've posted.
Thanks. Yeah,
And then
that's,
this is a place that you really love, right?
Yeah, Iceland, it's incredible, obviously. We've all seen pictures and, lived the dream of Iceland through other people, but I finally had the chance to go back in June with my buddy Colby Brown and Joe Azure, and we crisscrossed the country for about 2 weeks, literally chasing the light. We would find out, we'd wake up, see when the good, where the okay weather was in the country, and then literally drive 8 hours to get there. And we would do that every day, drive 8 hours to a new spot. And we went across the country probably 3 or 4 times. And it's such an incredible place. In June, the sun does not set at all. So, that picture of the waterfall was taken about maybe 12:30, 1 a.m., something like that.
That's so neat.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. That was not a Giving Lens trip. That was just a solo landscape trip.
Cool. So what percentage would you say of your travel is Giving Lens versus you just getting to do cool stuff like that, like randomly?
Probably most of my travel is Giving Lens related, since we have so many workshops and I can't take too much time out of my smug mug job. But so probably 90-95% is Giving Lens, and then I just happen to get lucky and be able to go to Iceland for a couple weeks.
So we have a question, and I don't know who it's directed at, but I'm going to direct it at you, Michael. This gentleman is asking, when will you come to India? The reason why I'm directing that at you is because I know you're going.
I'm going to India November 1st. I'll be there.
Woo!
Woo!
Do they still have your passport?
They do. I have not gotten my visa yet, so hopefully, if once the visa comes through, it'll be a lot. I can breathe easy, but yeah, they still have my passport and they still have not sent me a visa. So but the plan is
that's not a thing that you generally have to go through, right? This is the first time you've had this where you had to send off your passport?
Yeah, first time I've had to send it off. So India's got some pretty hardcore visa regulations. That shot's from Cambodia, of the monkey.
It's awesome.
I love that it has a mohawk.
Yeah,
it does.
Super cool. And he was just staring right at me and, got lucky. That's another shot from Iceland.
You have some great stuff from Iceland, but I love these too. You have several really lovely Star Trail photos, I think, as
Thanks.
well.
That one is from Wadi Rum, Jordan. And Wadi Rum, Jordan. Jordan is such an incredible country. I highly advise everyone to book a trip there. It's magical. It's amazing. And we're going back there. The Giving Lens is going back there in like May or June, maybe, of next year. So keep an eye out for our workshop. And me and Kate, I believe, are leading that one. It's going to be incredible. I love that place. There's a Petra at night photo in there too, and that's kind of the the cliche Jordan picture, but it never fails. Machu Picchu and
Where's is this?
Yeah, Petra at night.
That's
no,
the one.
next one.
The next one.
I might be lagged.
This
Yeah, that
one.
Yep.
What was this?
That one, the Milky Way one.
Is that what this is? Where is it?
The Milky Way one is actually in California, so that's not
nice.
too much traveling, but that's by Mount Shasta in California. My buddy Brian Rube got me there. Brian's awesome. But yeah, that's Petra at night. Petra is incredible, obviously. That's a street portrait from the barrios of Granada, Nicaragua. That kid had gold eyes. If you look at his, I did not touch his eyes at all. He had these incredible gold eyes that just
Yeah, they're pretty
pierced.
wicked.
Yeah.
So India's
Yeah,
next. India's next up for you. What's after that?
Yep. India, and then from India, I'm going to Chiang Mai, Thailand, and I'll be there for about a week for the Lantern Festival. Yeah, it's going to be amazing. I'm also working at the Elephant Reserve out there. helping protect the elephants and volunteering my time. Obviously, getting a lot of cool behind-the-scenes photos while I'm there. So India, then Thailand, and then I'll be back in the U.S. until the new year, and wherever the Giving Lens takes me. I know we have Peru, Jordan, Nicaragua, I believe, and a couple other amazing workshops coming up next year. So I'll be all over the place.
Well, things are slamming for you, man. Sounds great.
Yeah. Luckily, Smug Mug is cool with me leaving for a while, as long as I get my work done and have a good plan for when I leave. But yeah, they're pretty
They
cool.
want you to go out and get some new photos for them to print like the size of a building and hang in there.
Yeah, yeah, Baldy, I don't know, Baldy's very picky. Baldy's the Chris McCaskill, the co-founder of Smug Mug, and he's print obsessed, but he's very picky. He's not easy to please when it comes to giant prints. So I've actually only got one print. He's only printed one of my photos, and I think he did it out of sympathy for me.
No.
Yeah.
Your photos are great.
The one he printed actually is, if you still have my website open, it's the Iceland self-portrait one. So it had a Smuggy.
Oh, really? Were you doing
Smuggy
Monocore?
hoodie.
Oh, that's right. You had your back to the.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
so
why
maybe,
he was willing to print a photo of you because your face
exactly.
was.
Yeah, pretty much. And it promoted Smug Mug, so I think he was stoked about that. But yeah, he's hard to please. But he's currently on the hunt for huge panos. So Chris McCaskill, find him on Facebook. He's taking submissions for massive panos. I'm talking like 200 massive panos. I mean, they've got to be the kind of panos that make your Photoshop crash and take about 8 hours to stitch together. But he's looking for them, so if you got massive panos, hit up Chris McCaskill.
Cool. All right, let's move on. I think we lost Hillary. So hopefully she'll be able to. I know, isn't that sad?
Hey,
Hopefully join again.
Lotus.
What's up?
Can you hear me? So I'm going to show you guys real quick. I'm at a surf shop here in San Francisco. Chris Burkhardt, speaking of travel photographers, Chris Burkhardt is the senior photographer for Surf Magazine, and he is doing a show here, and he's premiering his Russia movie tonight. And he's an incredible travel photographer. So that's why I'm here, but I'm just going to show you guys inside real quick.
Oh, cool.
Oh, cool.
A lot of surfers in there. A lot of surfers and photographers, so it should be fun. So yeah, I'm actually going to hop off for a minute and just go in, and then I will rejoin, if that's cool, Lotus?
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
Awesome. I will be back on in a couple of minutes.
Cool. Thanks, Michael.
Thanks.
Okay. So, Sarah, Jordana,
Yeah.
who's gonna go next?
I'll go because I really don't consider myself a travel photographer. I'm a photographer that likes to travel, and I get to travel for shoots. But when I think of travel photographers, I think of people like Michael and Chris and Colby and people who take like usually more landscape-based than street stuff. And I just keep going back to the same cities. So I've been to New York a bunch of times, and like San Francisco and LA. But my last trip, which was I guess travel and street-based, was when I went to Havana. And I will screen share.
Yeah, show us some of that.
That work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, street photography is still kind of my passion. I don't do tons of it here in Toronto. It's unfortunate to say that I kind of get re-inspired every time I go somewhere else. So I'm looking forward to heading to New York next week for some street photography in my spare time. But this was in Havana. I went there almost a year ago. It was last December. And I spent a whole week just shooting street in Old Havana. So I'll just go through a couple of the photos. And I kept it kind of minimal. I think I brought a bunch of lenses, but I think throughout the day I really only had 2 lenses on me, and I shot a lot with just primes for the challenge instead of bringing kind of any zooms.
Nice.
It's really nice. I like the colors.
Yeah.
That's one of the places I would love to visit. I'm trying to early stages of planning a trip there for spring break.
No, like I don't know on the U.S. side how hard is it for you guys to go, because I know RC just went and I know a couple other people who've gone, so I
Well,
know it is.
I have a Venezuelan passport too,
Oh,
so
okay.
I can travel there with my Venezuelan passport.
Yeah. For us, I think there still hefty fines, but they're talking about making it more open. I know it's really easy to get down there if you're on like a humanitarian thing.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's
Oh,
not
cool.
it's not simple by any means. That's so cool.
So for the most part, for me, even with people, I really like to just watch more than anything. I feel pretty comfortable talking to people, but I still like to keep it as candid as possible. This guy back here, Wilkie, I mean,
Yeah, I
he's
was
kind
gonna
of like
ask
one
you
of
to
those.
go back.
Wilkie's awesome because he's kind of like one of those busker. He's like very much a performer. He's out on the street from like 10 in the morning till something like midnight. And he was on the cover of National Geographic Travel Edition for Cuba, so he carries that around with him to earn his money by posing for photos. So I mean, we saw him on our first day and we missed him because we went out for dinner, and so it took us until the last day to find him again. And then he posed for like 5 minutes for us. He was incredible.
Nice.
Really, really nice guy.
That's a great photo.
Yeah, I mean, the stuff itself is.
Go back to that. Sorry, go back to that. With the pig head.
Yeah, this was a market, and it was all outdoors. It was, I mean, probably 90 degrees out, so I would
Fresh.
imagine you'd want to go shopping first thing in the morning, because 3 or 4 at night, 3 or 4 in the afternoon. I mean, there's flies are starting to show up on the meat. But yeah, this is all out. There's markets everywhere, and we actually paid to do kind of like an on-foot travel tour. That this guy was great. I think he took us around for 2 or 3 hours, and he took us into shops that we probably would have just walked by, not knowing what they were. And this was one of the outdoor markets that was kind of hidden in a back alley somewhere.
Nice.
Yeah, it was gorgeous. I'd recommend anyone who has the opportunity to go down there to absolutely do that.
And so you were saying, and I can see like you were mentioning, the difference between, going and doing landscape things versus street, and you were saying you don't think of that as travel photography. And so that's interesting. But I think especially if you're somewhere where you don't reside, and you're capturing just kind of life there, I still think of that as travel photography. But I guess I don't know what the official definition for it is.
It makes sense when you say it like that. I think for me, what it comes down to is, especially when you see a lot of, quote unquote travel photographers on Google Plus, they're very much landscape based. They're very much people who are getting paid, or with stock photos that people want to buy the landscape stuff on, or like magazines want to use them, or tourism websites want to use them. With my style, I mean, I don't like carrying. I love the tripod I have, but I don't like carrying around the tripod. My first 3 years as a photographer was very much candid style, with shooting live events, shooting concerts, shooting music videos and movies. So that's still how I think. I think really fast, not doing long setups, not having 3-minute exposures, as great as those photos are. So I still think of myself as more of a candid wannabe street photographer that likes to travel.
Nice. New category.
Somebody asked you, somebody in the questions asked, what kind of things do you shoot when you're in Toronto?
So as far as like for paid work or for work, I started doing concerts and music videos about 3 or 4 years ago. I do weddings right now, but I still, because I like candid and documentary style so much more, I still actually prefer being a second shooter. so I can kind of do my own thing. But I've done a couple on my own, and I have a couple more planned for next year. And then I've done some stuff for the University of Toronto as well. But as far as personal stuff, it's street. And so.
Okay, and then someone else, since you were mentioning that, someone else also asked. You've got 2 more questions about your shooting. So somebody asked, what's your favorite lens for shooting street photography?
Yeah. Oh, okay, I'll answer that.
And then I'll give you the next one after that.
I like shooting with primes, so the 50 mil 1.4 is kind of like my go-to. In Cuba, I was using the 50 mil 1.4 and actually my 100 mil macro a lot. And I just recently picked up the Sigma's 35 mil, which I've been loving, and so I use that all day today. I went to go visit my nephews, and that's the only thing I use for portraits of them.
I have that 100 millimeter macro. It's really great for portraits, and I rented the 50 1.2 when I went to New York, and I should never have rented it because.
It can be really good. I think it's not the greatest for fast shooting because of the size of the glass. I think it can be kind of slow in finding that focus when the light or the contrast is pretty sensitive. But that 51.4 I love.
Oh no, I shouldn't have rented it because I want it and I can't afford it.
Oh, okay.
So you had somebody else ask, how do you approach people to ask them to take a picture of them? Are people usually willing to get their photo taken? And this person is saying that they're wanting specifically for Toronto.
Specifically for Toronto. So I smile. I smile. I still try to keep, like a comfortable distance. I'll, if the eye contact's there, I'll kind of like motion at the camera and raise it. A lot of times too, I do it discreetly. I'm not one to ever be pushy with it, and if someone doesn't feel comfortable, I'm personally happy to walk away and just like leave the shot. I know other photographers that aren't, and they, their argument is like street photography isn't a crime. It's for whatever, anyone can do it. But I never want to upset people, so it doesn't really bother me that much to kind of miss a shot if someone's not good. But if you want to learn how to talk to people at all, Alan Shapiro gave a great talk at Google about it, and he's incredible. I got to meet him for the first time at the photo walk in July in New York, and he'll be doing a photo walk with Bonacore in New York next week as well. So yeah, I mean, you can Google search it. It's easy to find, just Alan Shapiro, 1L, in Google, and his talk is incredible, and he does amazing captures of strangers every single day.
Yeah, his talk is great, and I felt really kind of lucky to get to spend a significant amount of time with him on one of the days that I was in New York, and we did a lot of street stuff, and to be able to watch him do his thing with people and see how he talks to them and creates a rapport, it was really cool to watch it, watch him doing his thing. And then I also get to see Juan do it a lot, so it's really neat to see him really just kind of transform a relationship in moments and take someone from a stranger to like a really relaxed relationship where there's this amazing posing going on, and so it's people who are good at it, it's really cool to watch them work, right?
Yeah, you have to relax them. If not, they're just going to go, cheese, and that's not good.
I would love to be as comfortable as Alan is and as great as he is. And just being able to watch him do it and then hear his stories behind it, it's completely inspiring.
It's really cool. So let's go ahead and see some of your work, Jordana.
Okay.
And get some like good knowledge and a good tip from you.
Do you want to just cruise my website and see what you find interesting, or should I?
I'd like for you to screen share some things.
All right. Cool. Okay. Okay. So can you see it?
Yeah.
That's what she said.
So these are some mixed-in pictures for recent trips. Last year, my big trip was America by Rail, which was a 45-day trip where I traveled all around the United States and took photos, traveled by train, held photo walks in different cities. Lotus, that's when I met you for the first time.
Yes.
So that is the trip that I was referencing earlier when I said that I am still nowhere near done editing everything. But it's cool because as time passes, I get a different editing style. Like, it kind of just transforms over time. So I have this amazing body of work to go back to and like try new things out on it.
Yeah.
So this shot is it still screen sharing?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the Disney Opera House. Wait, we'll go back. Pause. The Disney Opera House in LA. And we went there on the LA photo walk, and it was absolutely amazing. The light in there is ridiculous. And I found out that this is actually the same architect as the Pritzker Pavilion in Chicago, which is another one of my favorite places to photograph. So it's really cool to see like how the patterns and stuff transform from one building to the next. This is the Guthrie in Minneapolis, and this was just like this random escalator. So, you know, I had been hanging out with Thomas Hawk a couple weeks before that, so I was into escalators.
You can't tell at all.
I know, right? Channeling Thomas Hawk. This is from a trip to Canada. This is a place called Mare Bleu, which is near Ottawa. And I was there a few years ago. Yeah, I have never had a more like magical photography experience than this place. I went
Shut up. We had a magical experience. Don't ever forget it.
We had a magical experience, but that was not my first time to Virgin Gorda. So, yeah.
It was not my first time. That's what she said.
This was like a ridiculous sunrise, and I just kept like looking around and like freaking out and getting super excited and running to a new picture. So it was magical.
It is really beautiful. It's really, really nice.
This was the craziest experience. This was in Iowa, of all places.
Wow.
I was walking in the woods and heard this like giant crunching sound, and I was pretty sure I was going to get eaten by a monster. And because I was by myself in the woods, and I get psyched out all the time because you know my brain.
Did you have your bear spray with you?
This was before bear spray came into my life.
Okay.
So, like, now it wouldn't be a big deal, but then I was terrified, so I climbed up on this like little rocky cliff so that I could like have elevation on the monster, I guess.
I mean, if it was flying monsters, you would still be screwed, but yeah.
Yeah, but you know, my odds were good. And then these three horses wandered out of the woods, and
That's really cool.
I got to hang out with them for like 20 minutes. We came along some other hikers together, and the hikers were like, "Wow, are these your horses?" I was like, "Yeah, you know, just taking my horses to the woods."
Wild horse lady.
But it was a really cool experience. So yeah, like random crap like that happens.
Which is the cool thing about traveling, isn't it? That
yeah.
It's one of the things you plan for a lot of stuff. But then one of the really cool things is that there are random things that happen that you wouldn't know were going to happen that will also result in really cool photos.
Absolutely. And that's like, we were talking about tips for traveling, and one of them that I have is that I always try to do my research for a place, and I come up with vague ideas of what I'd like to do while I'm there, but you have to leave yourself open to spontaneity and like random crap happening to you.
I totally agree.
You know what I mean? That's like when the incredible stuff happens that can't be replicated at all.
Yeah. I totally agree with that.
Yeah. And then this is Virgin Gorda for a magical sunset with Lotus.
It was special.
It was special.
Magical.
This is the Imperial Sand Dunes in California. That place was baller and terrifying and exhilarating all at the same time. Because it was like 108 degrees, and I did not adequately hydrate.
Yeah, that's not good. You can die.
You could die.
So, and the part of your thing that you were saying earlier about planning and things, that's the part where you don't want to just leave things up to chance on the stuff that could kill you.
Well, the thing was, okay, here's what happened. I had 2 gallons of water in the car, but then I got out of the car to take some pictures, walked over a sand dune, and forgot which way the car was.
That's easy to do in a place like that, too, isn't it?
It is, and I'm like by myself, and I'm thinking, this is how my mother is going to finally find out that I did that. Like, I'm going to be a skeleton out of sand dunes.
All dried up in the sand.
Yep. And then
it's like you see those skulls, those like, you know, all weather-beaten skulls, and it would be Jordana.
This was also like near Yuma, Arizona, which was my base of operations for the last picture. This is just like some random field. This is a sunrise, and that's the other thing. You got to get off your ass when you're traveling. It's really easy to be tired and lazy, but the best light of the day is early and late. So if you want to sleep, take a nap in the afternoon.
Yep.
This is the Getty Center in LA. The thing that was amazing about that place was that there were more photographers there for architecture than there were people to look at the art in the museum.
Wow.
And they would all just like line up and take the same shot one after another after another. It was really good people watching for that. And then we're back to the beginning.
So someone asked a little while ago, and since we didn't ask the question then, I'm going to ask it now, and you can answer, Jordana, or anybody can jump in. When traveling, what gear or otherwise do you consider essential to bring with you, and what do you leave home?
Okay, so I'm going to show you my favorite piece of travel gear, and it's not camera gear necessarily. Okay. I have this thing. It's called It's a Cyber Power, okay? And it lets you plug into your car charger with like a regular outlet. So I can back up my pictures to my computer on the road while I drive from beautiful photography site to beautiful photography site.
That's
and then
awesome.
I don't have to worry about stuff or like stay up late trying to back things up because I've been doing it all day by being able to plug in my laptop and my hard drive.
That is pretty
$30.
Rockin'. And what, say the name of that thing again?
It's called Cyber Power. I think it's like their Cyber Power car charger or something on Amazon. It's like $30.
Okay, that's cool. I'm going to write that down.
So that's like something you want to think about is the best way to make use of your time. And as far as what you bring, you want to streamline also because things that can be used in multiple ways are super handy and worthwhile to carry, but something like a filter that only fits on one lens that you're only going to use in one specific situation, maybe you don't want to carry that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have things that are more adaptable that you can use in multiple scenarios, then that's definitely worth carrying around.
And I assume we all agree that we don't check our gear.
Yeah.
Hell no.
My favorite thing. Go ahead.
Go for it. No, you go for it.
My favorite thing to plan before trips or using before trips is actually Google Maps. So I picked this up from Thomas Hawk when he came up here to Toronto like 3 or 4 summers ago. And now I have public Google Maps for all the major kind of cities I plan to visit or ones that I'm preparing to visit. So I have different color nerdy pins for museums and parks and landmarks, everything, and little notes for myself on them. And then, you know, in the last couple of trips I haven't had a data plan, so then I take screenshots of them all and save them to an album on my phone so I have references once I'm there.
That is a great idea.
That's really smart to do. And it reminds me of something else. When you're planning your trip and you're looking for the things that you're going to want to shoot, and so you're making your maps and stuff, one of the really good things also to do is to reach out to people that live there and ask them some questions because things also change. So if you look up and you find some like great photos or things and you think, oh, I want to shoot that too, and you put it on your map, and then you devote time to traveling to that destination or whatever, and it's gone, you'll be a little pissed because you wasted your time. So, for example, when I was in Detroit in January 2012, I got the wonderful opportunity to shoot this really great abandoned high school, Redford, and I have some wonderful photos, and I post them periodically, and I have people who live in Detroit comment now to tell me, oh, they've demolished this now, so it's really cool that you got to shoot there. But so if you were to travel, if you were to just see my photos and those comments were there, and you would think, oh, I want to go look for Redford while I'm in Detroit, and you plan part of your day to do that, but you haven't talked to anyone, it's not going to be there. So it's good to kind of reach out to people. I mean, we have all these social media sites that we are interactive on, and to reach out to people and say, hey, I'm planning a trip to Detroit or San Francisco or Wisconsin or whatever, and who lives there, and what should I shoot? And,
you always can get contacts that way. I'm actually meeting with some Google Plus people next weekend. We're probably going to go down to Seoul, so it's pretty cool to just reach out and try to find people, especially in communities. You can search South Korea and then just put a message there. You can travel it. So.
Okay,
nice.
well, we are going to announce our winners. Before we do that, I did want to mention one of the things that I really like to have in my travel bag is lights. So you might not really think about that as much as photography gear, but you can for a couple of different reasons. One, if you're going to do anything where you're going to be in an area at night that you're not so sure about, it's good to have a light on you so that you never find yourself completely in the dark. But you can also do some really cool things with the lights. You can do some light painting. So, for example, when Jordana and I were in Virgin Gorda, we did some really interesting light painting on the beach. And the really funny thing about that exposure, I don't know if I ever told you this, Jordana, because we didn't plan this at all, but one of the funny accidental things about that is it was actually a 69-second exposure.
No.
It totally
Really?
was. So look at it on Flickr and look at the EXIF. It's a 69-second. And I never noticed it, but you know how people are like, they like to look at EXIF and they like to see what your settings were? And so people started like laughing in the comments and being like, oh, that's so great. It was a 69-second exposure. And I was like, no way. And I went and looked at it, and sure enough. So, you can do some really great stuff with lights.
With 69 and lights and 16. That's very nice.
If you have Jordana on the beach, anything can happen.
Uh-oh.
Okay. And with that, we'll get to announcing the winners of last month's Drink and Click Challenge, which was what?
Famous landmarks or people of your city. And we got 3 prizes and 3 winners. And the 3rd place winner is going to win Zoom adapters, which is a little adapter you put on your front of your lens, and then you can quickly attach your filters to your camera. And the 3rd place winner is Suzanne. I'm going to kill her last name. Barsic?
I think you're right. Barsic.
Barsic.
That's what I would say anyway.
From Berlin, and actually the picture she submitted was part of the Berlin Wall, which remains over there in a few areas. So congratulations, Suzanne. 2nd place, they're gonna win a year account from Viewbug.
Oh, great.
Which you can submit your pictures for a competition and win prizes. And 2nd place goes to Graham Knights from Canada, Vancouver.
Beautiful reflections in that photo.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the 1st place winner is Giovanni. Giovanni Pilar. I'm gonna kill his last name. You know who Giovanni is.
Giovanni P.
Yes, and he won
from Tokyo.
A Smug Mug account. So.
Woo!
A 1-year Smug Mug account, and I was gonna get in touch with them, and I'll send you your connection for the prizes.
Yeah. So, congratulations, guys.
Yeah,
Great
there
job.
were a lot of cool pictures. So
we have a challenge every month with prizes.
Yes, we do, and the challenge this month is shadows. Having a little hard time keeping up with all these challenges and updating and responding to people just being here with the time change, but try to do my best.
Yeah, so shadows in honor of Halloween, kind of
Yeah.
a dark theme a little bit.
So if you want to open a Drink and Click chapter in your city, you can go to drinkandclick.com, and you can look at the chapters we have up right now, which we have 27 cities. The latest city we added, let's see, we got Tunisia, Honolulu, and Stuttgart, Germany was the latest chapter we got. And I just got contacted when we were on the show to open one in Salt Lake. So,
Sweet.
yeah. So I need to get in contact with them and just see if we can get one running over there.
All right. Well, that's gonna do it for tonight. I think we're over and out.
Yep.
So we'll have our show again. This was an unusual night. We don't usually do our shows on Saturdays. So, but we'll be back to our regular Wednesday, middle of the month Wednesday on November 13th. I'm working on booking our guest now. I can promise it's going to be exciting.
Nice. Yeah. Perfect. Well, I guess thank you to the panelists and everybody watching, and just go to the website, send us a message.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.